When you clearly don't work somewhere, but people seem to think you do. Welcome to this episode of I Don't Work Here, Lady. Our first one is from Be My Solo 17. So for context, I live in a city that was ranked one of the top places in the US to retire. So an older person asking small favors from strangers is super common. This happened yesterday. I was shopping at Walmart and a tiny little old lady who I'm guessing was in her 90s asks me, "Excuse me, can you please grab that bag of flour for me?" I said, "Sure," grabbed and put it in the kid's seat of her cart so the cashier can scan it without having to lift it. She thanked me and we chatted for maybe 30 seconds. Then behind me I hear a different woman's voice who sounded annoyed. "Okay, you've spent enough time on her. Where's the coffee creamer?" I turned and said, "What?" As soon as I saw her face, it dawned on me that I'm going to have a Karen moment. Also super common in my area. The Karen says, "It's your job to help all the customers, not just her." The old lady says, "He doesn't work here. He is just helping an old lady because his parents raised him right." There was a noticeable pause, then the old lady just turned and walked away. In my head, she was strutting off with a half-finished cigarette in her mouth and pixelated sunglasses, walking into the sunset while the Mandalorian end credits music plays. Not sure if this was a "you had to be there" moment, but I've been laughing ever since. You have to love that when you try to do a good deed for someone, especially in a store, you're definitely going to be mistaken as an employee and you potentially run into these Karens. This next one is by NSFWFPTA. This is happening right now. It's pretty late at night and I came to a store with a friend. As I was parking by the sidewalk, some guy up ahead with a baggie waved. My friend went inside to shop and the guy started walking towards me. He did this weird thing, almost like a lunge, I guess to peek at my plate? Anyway, he started screaming and it startled me. "What the hell, man? You parked so far? Your car is all wrong. You're losing stars for this." "I'm not a driver, just open the trunk already." So I started repeating myself with a nervous laughter while this guy insisted I was lazy, hard to deal with, and shouldn't be entitled because I was the one driving him around. Now he pretended to answer his phone, but you can see he has the app open in the map on his cheeks. Update: a black SUV picked him up. I have a white sedan. My friend is still shopping. I love how the guy's sitting there saying your car is all wrong and how you're gonna lose stars when in fact it was the guy that was wrong, made a massive mistake, and acts super entitled. This next one is from Available Capital 476. In the long ago days of the start of the pandemic, when store hours were shortened and had limited customer capacity, I very briefly worked in an understaffed grocery store. They did not have any uniforms in my size, and their uniform distributor was closed down, so I wore a collared shirt of my own in the same color and style as their uniform. The managers were just thankful for that much. We had a senior shopping hour one day a week when the store would only be open for a very limited number of seniors and immune-compromised customers. There was regularly a line at the door at opening. Several times I was scheduled to start just before opening, so I would be attempting to make my way into the front of the store, past the line of impatient senior citizens, and calling my manager to be let in. I'm a very tiny woman in my 20s, and am often mistaken for a teenager, and as stated before, I don't have an actual uniform. I wish I could adequately describe the type of horrendous screeching insults hurled by half of the line when these people absolutely could not or would not comprehend my explanations that I do work here. I was physically attacked by one woman who grabbed me by the hair and yanked me away from the door. I cannot count the number of curses and insults I had thrown at me. One spotted my manager coming to let me in and insisted, "This entitled little bitch be banned from the store for trying to skip the line when she shouldn't even be here and lying that she works here." On a happier note, I had a customer start to ask me a question, pause and go, "Oh, sorry, I thought you worked here," when he realized I wasn't wearing a company shirt. I was torn between appreciating that the one time someone looks at the shirt, they were still wrong by accident, and laughing because I was literally scraping gum off of the floor by hand. Why would someone not an employee be doing that? You have to love the entitlement of people, and in this case, these people were so entitled thinking that you actually didn't work there when in this case you actually did. The sad thing is, you didn't get an apology from these people once they realized you did in fact work there. This next one is by Unofficially ATC. Literally happened about 10 minutes ago. Not a super exciting story, but I thought someone might get a chuckle out of it. I work as a customer support phone agent for an app that handles a lot of financial information. Therefore, we have a process whenever someone calls in to verify their identity before we can give them any information. A lady calls in, I give her my greetings spiel, and we go through the verification process without issue. Then we get to why she called in. She's having trouble logging onto the app. I assist with that and ask her if there's anything else she needs.
Can you upgrade my Google account?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, that's why I was trying to log in the first place. I'm trying to upgrade my Google account.
We are in no way connected to Google, apart from allowing people to use Google Pay within our app, so I'm not sure what her thought process was with that. If you're having difficulty with your Google accounts, I would recommend calling Google support.
So you can't help me?
No ma'am, I work for this company. I can't assist you with accounts outside of our platform.
You people make this so difficult. I give up.
I'm not allowed to hang up on customers, so I got to hear her huff and complain to herself for several more minutes before she finally hung up. What I'm confused on is, how did you make it difficult? She's the one that wants to upgrade her Google account, which has no affiliation with the company you're working for or your job, so I fail to see how you made anything difficult. And our final one is from Communism Don't Work. Background: I'm a 65-year-old white male with a full, white beard and a well-earned beer gut. At the time of this story, just after Thanksgiving, I was shopping at a fairly nice mall anchoring department store. Now, to be fair to the Karen of the story, I was wearing a bright red hoodie, but with old, nicely broken in jeans and gray Merrell hiking boots. Absolutely nothing like the business casual attire of the store employees. Also, nowhere near a full Santa suit. I know, I've got one. Okay, the story. I'm browsing the kids' clothing, trying to find something cute for one of my granddaughters. She likes shirt dresses, long shorts, and unicorns. I had a couple of her size t-shirts with the mythical beasties pictured on them in my cart, and was seeking for shorts to go with them, when I hear the call of a wild Karen.
Excuse me?
At a fairly high volume from somewhere behind me. Naturally, I ignored it, although I said a quick prayer for whatever luckless individual it was actually directed at. Silly me. Next thing to break my shopping focus was a painfully forceful, three-fingered, I know cause I felt 3 claws, blow to my shoulder, hard enough to make me take an extra half step for balance. No mean feat, since I'm 6 foot, 250-ish pounds. My fight or flight reflex opted for fight, boding ill for the poker, since I'm a mildly PTSD veteran with a .44 Bulldog revolver on my hip. Yes, I have a permit, and no, this store does not forbid legally carried weapons. I whip around to face my assailant, stepping back to open up space, my right hand instinctively going to my holster, more to ensure no one is grabbing for my pistol than any thought to pull it. My left coming up with a fist clenched. Apparently, this startled a squawk from Karen, a 30 to 40-year-old woman with an elementary-age looking child in tow. She takes half a step back and I relax a bit. We eye each other for half a second or so in silence. I recover first. "What is wrong with you? Why did you hit me?" I bellowed. She's very contrite, mumbles an apology, and flees. Just kidding. With typical Karen logic, she screeches,
I did no such thing, and if you weren't ignoring customers, I wouldn't have had to.
I don't work.
Now take me to your village or whatever. My niece wants a picture with you.
What? I actually said that. I think my brain locked for a second, trying to make sense of this nonsensical topic shift.
You know, where you take pictures of my kids?
Lady, I'm not a photographer? Total confusion now. I mean, I'm thinking, did I have a stroke or is she having one?
Of course not. The kids sit on you and get their picture taken. What kind of Santa are you?
My brain gears finally meshing, remembering the color of my sweatshirt. Ma'am, I'm not Santa. I'm a shopper, just like you. Thinking, except I'm not crazy. Karen, puzzlement finally replacing entitled wrath on her face.
Well, then you shouldn't dress like one. You're just a tease.
Me shaking my head. So I shouldn't wear jeans? At that, I start to hear laughter, the king of suppressed snort that gets away from someone who can't keep glee inside anymore. I turn and see a couple of employees and a few customers I hadn't noticed before with various expressions, ranging from mouth-covering snickers to red-faced, cheek-puffed grins. So does Karen, who stalks away without another word. Hardly my best comeback, but at least it pleased the peanut gallery. I simply bowed and went back to shopping. You know, just because you're wearing a red hoodie doesn't mean you're playing Santa. If you were playing Santa, you'd think you'd have the whole get-up on, but maybe Karen doesn't understand that, or maybe Karen never saw Santa. Alright, that's enough stories for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of I Don't Work Here Lady. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.